The following training is sponsored by the Niagara Library System. We serve our member libraries in Niagara, Orleans, and Genesee counties. You can always visit our main web page listed here at niagara.org, or certainly visit your local library homepage and use your library card to get access to streaming videos, downloadable music, audiobooks, ebooks, and even more from the comfort of your own home. Thank you. Hello. So in the soft skills series, I figured today was part 3, and we're talking about positive attitudes. And let me tell you first, if you can figure out how to have a positive attitude all the time, come talk to me. Well, if you can figure it out, let me know. All right. But in my first video, I had said this about having a positive attitude. Of course, you should smile, I know. But it does help you look your best. Try to be sure that your camera is actually on eye level or a little bit above. And because looking down on the camera is almost always a problem. It's not the most flattering angle. You can always move it if you need to, but when you look good, it's definitely a confidence booster. It's going to show up in your eyes and your voice. And I do admit this is a little bit weird for me, but I have thought about what I do to get positive and smile and how I try to kind of pass that along to others or show, what's going on. And I generally try to do things like counting my blessings, those types of things, but looking for small everyday victories. I like to pet my dogs or my cats, and I greet people as if I were greeting a pet. I do watch funny videos on YouTube, and of course, I keep saying this, but balance, balance, balance. Now, let me back up a second because I'm sure you heard me say I greet people as if I were greeting someone's pet. But I do like pets in general, and I find if I greet people in the same way or same style with warm enthusiasm as I would a pet, people respond well. I feel better, and perhaps I shouldn't admit that, but I hope you don't find it offensive. But it really does work well for me. It's about visualizing, which is another thing we're going to talk about later. So I do apologize if you don't like that. I did poke around on the internet to see how others might build a positive attitude, and I found some interesting things. So just picking out some highlights. Marilisa Fabrizia is a lawyer, entrepreneur, and blogger. She wrote out a great list. She called it 21 Ways to Create and Maintain a Positive Attitude, and you can see the link there at Daring to Live Fully. And what I did was I just cherry picked a few of those, and we'll talk about those. One of the things she talks about is actually having a morning routine. How you start your morning sets the tone for the rest of the day. Make sure you have an attitude boosting morning routine, whatever that may be. That puts you in a good mood so that you can start the day off right. Relish the small pleasures. I mentioned that too. Big pleasures, graduation, getting married, being promoted, having your book published, come too infrequently. Life is made up of small, tiny victories and simple pleasures. With the right mental attitude, watching the sunset, eating an ice cream cone, walking barefoot on the grass are all you need to be filled with joy. And I did like the little visual here of the Russian nesting doll. As the dolls get smaller as you open it up, and I thought that was very cute. She mentions upload positivity to your brain. Read books with a positive message, listen to music with uplifting lyrics, and watch movies in which the protagonist's optimism helps him or her to overcome obstacles and win despite the odds. Change your attitude for the better by uploading as much positivity into your brain as you possibly can. And this, to me, too, I like to watch funny videos on YouTube. I balance a lot, actually, too, when I find that I'm getting a little cranky. I will go to YouTube and look up comedians and watch. I've been watching a lot of Jim Gaffigan and Mitch Hedberg and Fluffy. I can't remember his real name. Gabriel Iglesias. They're all very funny. So whatever you think is really funny, it really it's a little cheesy, but it works. And she talks then here about taking responsibility. At any moment, your attitude can be that of a victim or creator. The first step you need to take to shift from victim mode to creator mode is to take responsibility. And she talks about here's the attitude of creator. I create my life. I am responsible for me. I'm in charge of my destiny. Again, take a lot of this, I think, with a grain of salt and a lot of balance. We're veering to the super duper duper positive side, and a lot of times we're going to fall somewhere. Not if we're really negative or really positive, we're going to fall, somewhere in between. Hopefully more towards the positive side. As much as you can, too. I find that taking positive actions and positive steps is very, very helpful to be proactive. And a reactive person allows others and external events to determine how they will feel. A proactive person decides how they will feel regardless of what may be going on around them. Um, be proactive by choosing your attitude and maintaining it throughout the day, regardless of what the day may bring. This also means, to me, monitoring yourself, and this is something I've had to learn and learn and learn again. I find if I'm hungry or I haven't had enough sleep or, one of my patrons has yelled at me or something hasn't worked right, I can get crabby fast. So I have to try and monitor that and maintain that balance. And sometimes it takes other people or talking to other people and saying, "Ugh," and seeing what you can do about it. So again, it's very individual, but being able to monitor that and try and take healthy, proactive steps to helping yourself is really good. Also, being proactive can help other people too. So when people know that you do this and you're willing to be open with them, they may be more willing to be open with you, which is always great. So that's good. When you have a purpose, having a purpose in life gives you a fixed point on or in the horizon to actually focus on so that you can remain steady amid life's vicissitudes and challenges. You bring meaning and purpose into your life, and knowing why you're here can do wonders for your attitude. And again, these are very personal things as a general statement. However you do that, and I know a lot of us as librarians and working in the library, we're very service oriented, and sometimes it can be disorienting not to do that anymore. So as you, even in this series, knowing that I'm trying to talk to you and I have you as my audience in mind and my fellow staff members and the people that I miss and I want to see in person is very helpful. Now, again, the author talks about giving up on having an attitude of entitlement. She mentions specifically, you can see here, the Who Moved My Cheese book, which was very popular, of course, by Dr. Spencer Johnson. Two little mice and two miniature people are put into a maze, and here's what happens. When the mice discover that the cheese isn't where it's supposed to be, they immediately get to work on finding another piece of cheese. The two miniature people instead get angry that the cheese has been moved. They waste time expressing outrage and blaming each other. The author talks about stop demanding that things be handed to you. Your attitude at all times should be the following: it's up to me to get what I want. Good things come to those who work hard. I adapt to change easily and quickly, and I keep going even when things get tough. Now, being empathetic and taking a moment to say, you know what? The cheese isn't here, and we expected it to be here, and it stinks. You're right. So it's not here. So now, um, even though our feelings are hurt or we're flustered and everything has changed, you're right. What can we do to help it? So acknowledging the feelings and moving on, hopefully in a positive manner, without just kind of skimming over it or skipping that step, is very helpful. Last thing she mentions, or one of the things that she mentions, is to actually visualize when things aren't going your way. Keep a positive attitude by visualizing yourself succeeding and achieving your goals. When Nelson Mandela was incarcerated in a tiny cell that measured just 6 feet wide, we can relate to that now, can't we? 6 feet wide, he kept his hopes up by visualizing himself being set free, and it was a very specific visualization. Mandela once said, I thought of the day when I would walk free. Over and over again, I fantasized about what I would like to do, taking those steps, being in the sunshine, doing things in a very directed manner. By visualizing his release, he was able to maintain a positive attitude even when he found himself under extraordinarily difficult circumstances. So, amazing things can happen. So, take care and thank you, and we'll see you in the next video.